Honestly, when I became a new mom, I was always researching how to do this better, how to do that better. And I found out that a lot of the information wasn't relevant to me locally. So that's honestly where the birth of Lagos Moms came from, to provide a community for mothers who are based in Lagos, Nigeria, and of course the rest of the world.
Mothers face a lot of challenges when it comes to taking care of their children as well as trying to balance their personal lives. Just very few come out to share their problems and try to sought for help. And that is why Lagos moms have decided to come out to network and also learn from each other. My name is Foley and this is the 5th annual parenting conference and exhibition. Let's check it out.
I would say Lagos Mom Festival is an amazing event because it takes a lot for an event to keep mothers from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, a child's attention span is actually short. Imagine what an adult is. And they stay to listen, to contribute. Now, that says a lot about Lagos moms first, to be able to attract them. And it says a lot about the speakers. Now, for the moms to have stayed from 9 to 6, that tells you first. It talked about issues that were dear to them, that touched them. So it was an amazing conference.
You need to have time for your kids. You need to start training them early about the sexual education, because a lot of things are going on. You hear an adult, a grown-up man of like 40 raping a 6-year-old child is very abnormal. But once your child learns, don't touch, this is my bum, you're not meant to touch, and your child is friendly with you, at least that will go a long way. I learned about healthy eating as well.
It's been a wonderful event. I think that's the beauty with Lagos Moms. It's something that is really needed in the society because it shows a lot of awareness into so many different aspects. It's a conference where people come to actually gain skills and gain tips and just ideas for daily living. It's been a wonderful event and I'm glad that it's still running. This is the 5th year and it's themed our children or the future, our children to the world. And I know we've gained a lot of insight today. So I think it's wonderful.
It's been fantastic. These sessions that we're having now, when I started my first one, I planned for 20 moms. We had 70, and every year I've kept doing it, and now we have over 1,000 women that registered to come through. So it's amazing. We're really, really thankful. Yeah, thank you.
It's my first time actually, and I've been following her on Instagram. And today I've been exposed to the fact that parenting is not by default. You really have to be intentional about it. You need to read up, you need to seek knowledge, you need to seek help because we can't actually do it on our own. So it's a fantastic one and I really appreciate her for that.
Teaching your children how to save from the early stage, and actually teaching them to be upright and honest in whatever they do. And it's also very important to you as a mother to be honest as well, because whatever you do, your children learn.
Well, I came in during the financial aspect, and I took a whole lot from it. Teaching the children to save. I think that's one thing I'll take home because I haven't been doing that. Most times when they just say give me money, I just give them. But that's one thing I'll be taking home, learning to save and then making sure that they become more accountable with their money.
One major thing I've learned today is to always seek that help, Make sure you're conversing more. Don't assume you know everything. So at every point in time, be mindful, be intentional, ask questions, converse with them, draw them out of their hiding places. And again, I learned that regardless of their age, African parents tend to say that children are too small, they won't understand, but then they know these things. Even at 2, 3, they know.
Child who is not just moody but is violent or who completely cut off from the family, there's need for you to seek professional help. A child who's cut off completely even from their friends and is not going and doing the things that they used to enjoy doing before, you also need to seek professional help. And then beyond experimenting, then kids can actually become addicted to certain behaviors or certain drugs or alcohol. and you see the signs. So it's important to not just to know that those things can happen, but to recognize that some of the things that precede them are actually normal behavior in a teenager and an adolescent, and you should be able to recognize that, okay, it's gone beyond the usual now, I need to seek help.
The important thing in that kind of situation for you is for you to choose your battles, determine what you are going to absolutely say no to, and determine what you're going to let go, and trying to find out who they are.
Someone who deals with healthy food, healthy eating, like to summarize or to say one thing a mother should always look out for, that's for herself as well as for her children, what is that thing?
I would say mothers, be educated, be informed. Before you buy anything, look at the label. Because you cannot give what you don't have. One, that goes for a pregnant woman. You're pregnant. What you eat is what your baby eats. When you're breastfeeding, what you eat is what you give. Now, when your baby is weaning, whatever you eat is what you give. So when you are healthy and you have a healthy lifestyle, your children have automatically a healthy lifestyle. So I always try to find food that balances, not just one staple. Make sure you're mixing with the vegetables. Make sure you have your carbs, your minerals, your fats and oil all together, which is what Tom Brown as well is all about. It's all about in one meal having everything. So if that is one meal you're going to have for babies, for the moms, for adults, everybody.
Well, things I took from my parents that I am passing on to my children is family and love and unity. It's not about who is right or wrong. For me, I'm more concerned about peace than who is right or wrong. So with my children, I want them to have those values, to be compassionate, to love, to always stand with each other and for each other. And not only themselves, to respect themselves, to respect other people. And respect doesn't have to do with age. It's not because you're older than me I should respect you. Yes, I should respect you because you're older. I should respect those who are same ages as I am. I should respect those who are younger. And so that's one of the values from my parents I would love to pass on to them. For me, growing up, my parents were authoritarians. And in all fairness, I guess once you become a parent, you understand why your parents did certain things. So I don't judge them or say, oh my God, I'm just they gave what they knew to give. So you can't give what you don't have. They gave based on what they were exposed to. So I have modified it a bit. I'm trying not to be an authoritarian. I'm trying to be an intentional parent now.
No, my mom can beat for Africa. As in, she can really beat. If you feel you are stubborn, she will beat that stubbornness out of you. I don't want to take that. But to some extent, my mom gave us exposure. We were properly fed. We were clothed. So we went to parties. They took us to some fun places. So to some extent, I want to do that for her, just like I'm doing now. I'm taking her out.
I think for me is the fact that my parents inculcated values in us. They spent time. They were deliberate. They spoke to us. They led. They parented us, if I could use that word, by example. So they didn't just tell us what to do. They showed us how it should be done. So I hope that I could be half of a mother as my mom was to me, or is still to me.
At what age and at what stage should parenting end? Because I realize that even some of our 70-year-old parents are still parenting today. So I need clarification on that.
while growing up, my mom's punishing tool was starvation. You know, you might skip a meal. It might be that lunch, and when you're in a bad record, it might be the whole day. I can remember a day I had to go to school without anything, and eventually I had my own anger and I refused to eat. But with my kids, I can't do that because it didn't help. Because if you're not lucky, you might push the child to the extreme, and the child is vulnerable.
My mom was or is a disciplinarian. Even the extent that some people say that you tend to pamper your grandchildren, my mom doesn't do that to my children. As in, although there are some things she wouldn't have tolerated from me that she still tolerates for them, but to a greater extent, she's still a very no nonsense person. And those are the kind of things, little things that when I did and she had to spank me, and when my children do it now, I don't spank them because I know that, okay, they probably did it because they were children and all that. And so I think I'm more lenient now. But to an extent, I still have, being that I had a strict upbringing, I still kind of try to bring that into it so that they don't get too spoiled or loose as they grow older.
African moms, we scream and shout a lot. I find myself trying to do it even now. So what I do, when I see my son, especially the first one, doing things I know that will get me to scream, I take a breather. Before I come out, I talk to myself first, and I'm like, don't shout, don't scream, understand what's happening. So yes, that's one area that I would advise parents of today not to emulate.
I think honesty, just being honest with one another. My mom raised us really speaking the truth to us. And I'm grateful that my mother-in-law did the same with my husband. So speaking the truth to one another is not difficult. Even though it may reveal things that are difficult. You may hear things that you did not want to hear. But it doesn't change the fact that there's some things that someone will tell me that, oh, my child did, and I know it's not my child they are talking about, because I know what he or she is capable of doing. Now there's some things that, they'll say she did it and we'll laugh, we'll smile. My mother and I will smile at one another. We'll say, okay, she did it.
I think I was always a child that asked questions. And I used to get, why do you ask so many questions? Because I said so. And for me, it was always like, but I have a brain now. There's nothing wrong with asking. And that really changed. That really affected my parenting. I let my children ask questions. So even when I'm feeling exasperated, I know it's because maybe I'm tired or I've had a long day. It's not about them wanting to understand what they want to understand. So if I need to take a break, I'll say, give me a second. It's okay to go to your room, close your door, and just... Do you understand? And come back to them. But it's not to snap at them. It's not to tell them, keep quiet, you ask too many questions. No. So that's definitely one thing for me. One of the things I'll say I repeat a lot that I had as a child was the love. That sense of peace. Our home is peaceful and loving and a cocoon, and our friends could come. That I definitely have continued. So I love my children's friends coming over.
When you organize parties and you play for children, adult content, chop banana to go, chop banana for children. Bless you with body, baby. Start by bless you with money, and you are doing competition. You are playing that for 5-year-old children, 6-year-old children, 3-year-old children, lifting their waist, shaking their body, and you are saying that they should have.
Not easy, but we balance. I think when you're intentional, which is my favorite word, being intentional. When you're intentional, you know why you're doing what you're doing, what you need to adjust. We're not super women, so if I need to take a step back, I do. If I need to ask for help, I ask for help. I have a fantastic team that works with me now at Lagos Moms, so they make, honestly, a lot of what's happened today is them. So I thank God for the support system I have, and I really rely on people, because we can't do anything alone. And once you start thinking you can do it alone, you struggle. So I have friends, I have sisters, I have coaches, my team, my network is deep, and people that push me to be better than what I'm even doing today.
It was such a fabulous and fantastic event. I'm sure mothers learned a lot. I feel prepped already to become a mother. This is a very good initiative. What do you think about it? Comment, like, subscribe, BattaBox. Have a great day.